What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's Kevin Forte, and today we are heading into the Atlantic Division, looking at a team that, we're kind of waiting for the downfall of the Tampa Bay Lightning. There's a young team still, despite what everybody kind of says. Yes, they have their veterans, but now we're starting to see that transition to some of the younger players, and we're going to see that this season. A couple guys that are former Tampa Bay Lightning coming back to the organization. We're going to discuss all of that today. So looking at this team, yeah, there's definitely their older players. Kucherov, 30 years old. Stamkos, 33. But then you're starting to see the resurgence and some of the younger players that are going to either continue to make their mark on the team, like Anthony Cirelli and Braden Point, who are 26, 27 years old. But keep an eye on some of the other younger players as well. Guys like Alex Barré-Boulet, Logan Brown, Michael Eyssimont, and Jack Finley. We're going to get to him in a second. Now, this is a team that I think for the most part, definitely a different look. You look at some of the guys that have come in, some of the guys that have left, it's definitely quite interesting. But the changes here, we see them bring in Logan Brown, who's been here for a little while, but he'll be back for a full season, more than likely this season. Connor Sheary comes in. He's been with Pittsburgh. He's been with Washington most recently. So it's going to be interesting to see him in Tampa Bay. But Connor Sheary, he has shown in the past he can be a pretty good player. He signed a 3-year deal here in, 3-year deal in Tampa Bay. So we'll see how things go there. That could be a really good pickup for them. Josh Archibald, he's more or less replacing what they lost in Pat Maroon, who now is in Minnesota. So that's a pretty big loss there for the Lightning. But there you go. They bring in Josh Archibald. Calvin DeHaan, he's been bouncing around the league. This is a player I have a huge attachment to. Tampa Bay, you're going to love Calvin DeHaan. This is a player, when I went to a Devils game, Calvin DeHaan actually gave me a puck as an Islander. So I'll never forget. I will always have a soft spot for Calvin DeHaan. And, man, he's a good hockey player, and he's an even better dude. So you guys are going to like him down there. And Jonas Johansson in between the pipes. He's been with the Colorado Avalanche. He was with the Buffalo Sabres at the end of last season, if I'm not mistaken. So Jonas Johansson's been bouncing around just a little bit. So hopefully he's able to find a little bit of stability there. I think this is a better backup for the Tampa Bay Lightning than Brian Elliott, who is no longer a part of the organization. So that could be their next guy, Jonas Johansson. We'll see how things go. Rookies, there's a decent amount here. More or less, they've played games before for the Lightning, so it's not complete rookies, like guys that are going to be playing their first NHL game, but these are definitely guys to watch. Nonetheless, Nick Perbix is a guy that, in all honesty, not a fan of his game last season. I think he's a guy that, he's shown potential. He had 20 points in 70 games last year with the Lightning. He had 3 points in the playoffs, but he leaves you wanting more defensively. So hopefully he's been able to work on that this offseason, because I think there's a lot of potential there, but he didn't pass the eye test for me. Jack Finley is pretty much their prized prospect at this point. Jack Finley is a guy that, like I said, probably going to spend most of the season in the American Hockey League. Maybe if this was a team like San Jose or Detroit, he might make that lineup. But at 20 years old, the former second-round pick, I just think he's going to spend most of the season in Syracuse. But like I said, toward the end of the season, if there's injuries or they want to rest guys or just add some depth, Jack Finley could definitely be in there at some point. And Gabriel Fortier, again, he's a former second-round pick as well. There is expectations for him, but he is not really broken out in the NHL. So hopefully he's able to play a little bit more in the NHL, gain some more experience. He has a dozen games of NHL experience over the last 2 years combined. Hopefully he'll spend a little bit more time in the NHL. And I think with their current roster makeup, he will get an opportunity to hopefully play maybe 20 games this season with the Tampa Bay Lightning. My breakout player this season, I'm going to go with Connor Sheary. I think Connor Sheary is one of those guys that nobody's really talking about. That might be one of the better signings of the offseason. We know what he's done in the past. This is a guy that, he had 37 points last season for the Capitals. He's had some seasons like a 53-point and 61-game season with the Pittsburgh Penguins in the 2016-2017 season. He's a good player, but if he can stay healthy and he's in the right spot, he could be a really good add to this top 6 for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and on a fairly cheap contract as well. So what is my prediction for this team? My prediction is pretty much what you would expect. 45 to 50 wins, 100 to 105 points. I don't think they're going to win the Atlantic Division this year. Hell, I don't even think they might even make the top 3 in that division this year. They might be a wild card team. But with that said, I think the Tampa Bay Lightning are a playoff team. There is some questions about some of the other teams coming up. I don't think it's the year for them yet. I think Tampa Bay is still here to stay. They still have Steven Stamkos. They still have Victor Hedman. Keep an eye out for Sergachev. He had 65 points last year for the Lightning. Continue to see some success from him. And of course, Vazzy. We know how good Vasilevsky can be. Expect him to have a comeback season from a little bit of a down season last year compared to his standards. So we'll see how that goes next year. With that said, I think the Tampa Bay Lightning make the playoffs, and they are going to be a team with at least 100 points. So guys, let me know what you think down below. Do you think this is the year that the Tampa Bay Lightning break apart the club? Do you think that maybe even Stamkos gets traded to Toronto at the deadline or something like that because they missed the playoffs? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. Or do you think Tampa has one more run left in them? Do you think we're going to see more of the emergence of the Perbixes and the Finleys and the Easemans this year? Let me know down below. Guys, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again next time. Peace.